All right, quick crash course in adding and subtracting fractions when we're dealing with variables. Here we have m over 5 plus 3m over 5. Just like when we're adding fractions with numbers, we can write that as one fraction, adding the numerators, m plus 3m over that same denominator, 5. Now I can just simplify the numerator. M plus 3m is 4m, and we get 4m over 5. When they don't have the same denominator, I need to make them have the same denominator. They have to have a common denominator. In this case, I'll use 10, because 2 and 5 both divide 10. So I want denominators of 10. Well, to get 10, I've got to multiply this first fraction by 5 over 5. Remember, I've got to multiply top and bottom by the same thing. The 5 times 2 on the bottom gives me the 10. 5 times x gives me 5x. The fraction on the right, I need to multiply by 2 over 2. The 5 times 2 here will give me 10. On top, I have 2x times 2, which is 4x. Now I can combine them into one fraction over 10. 5x plus 4x, which is 9x. So our answer is 9x over 10. Here I have two fractions with the same denominator, but the numerators are a little more complicated. That's all right, just like we always do. I'm going to add the two numerators and put it over that denominator of 3. So I have 2x plus 1 plus x plus 5, and I will combine like terms. 2x plus x is 3x, 1 plus 5 is 6, divided by 3. Now notice, all of the terms can be divided by 3. So I will simplify it by dividing each of those by 3. 3x divided by 3 is just x. 6 divided by 3 is 2. And then the denominator, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So it simplifies to x plus 2 over 1. And dividing by 1, I don't really need to write that, so we'll just leave it as x plus 2. Now this one looks a little different, but it's really not. C plus c over 3. I still need a common denominator. And I have to remember that c I can think of as c over 1. I will use 3 as a common denominator. So I'll multiply this first fraction by 3 over 3, and I'll get 3c over 3 plus c over 3. I'll combine them into one fraction. 3c plus c is 4c. So the answer there is 4c over 3. That I cannot simplify because there are no numbers that both 4 and 3 will be divided by. And this one, again, looks more complicated than it is. I've got b in the first term, which again I'm going to think of as b over 1. And this last thing, I can combine all these numerators, right? 5 over 1 and b over 1. I'm multiplying all these three things together. So my numerator is 5 times 1 times b. That's 5b. And the denominator is 1 times 3 times 1. So that whole thing is just 5b over 3. It just looks a lot more complicated than it is. So I've got b over 1 plus 3b over 4 plus 5b over 3. Now I can think, what do I need for a common denominator? Well, 4 and 3 will both divide 12. So I'm going to use 12. So I will multiply this first fraction by 12 over 12 and get 12b over 12. The second fraction, I need 12. My denominator is 4, so I'm going to multiply it by 3 on top and bottom. 3 times b times 3 is 9. So that's 9b over 12. And the third fraction, I will multiply by 4 over 4. 5b times 4 is 20 over 12. Sorry, 20b over 12. And those numerators are all like terms. I can add them up. 12 plus 9 is 21, plus 20 is 41. So it's 41b over 12. That doesn't simplify, so we'll have to just leave it as is.